insert things into and work within it, I think it's actually quite an exciting thing at the moment. And
well, it was a pleasure for me to be here too. Well, not only projects, I think you're the most passionate. Yeah, I have only two. If you look at my CV,
well, you are.
I have maybe lots of relations, but well, you never give up. Let's say that's about commitment. I always, let's say, in the girl in the Jawbreaker, the difference with that woman and me,
yes,
the commitment of what she is supposed to do, or
yes,
what I told her to do.
That she had
commitment.
to do. Yes.
And our relationship with you, our telephone conversations, it was always because that makes the artist, no matter what, I will continue. And sometimes for me, I continue the project. I don't have these dates in my mind.
Yes,
like
exactly.
Exhibitions come and pass, but I go on with it. Like when
yes,
I find something else, even names of or titles or writing about them, because they always come back in cycles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. Yes.
Well, I'm always looking at that ramp, this viaduct.
Oh, the road that comes down, Jubilee Way that comes
because,
down.
This is the exact place. I grew up in the promenade in Izmir. And one day, one politician said, there will be no promenade. We will make a highway in front of your home.
Oh.
And
like a highway that was a raised highway,
raised,
like that.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
And there was so much demand from the city. If you do it, nobody is going to have no pleasure. You are cutting the horizon of some people.
Exactly.
From the airport, they slowly entered the city. And now, public was so powerful, they have stopped when it comes to the ferries. To the port.
Right.
And I was developing a project, because it's empty. No use to anyone. Now they are using as a car park under it.
That's very true.
That kind of viaduct in Izmir also.
Yeah.
And I thought, why don't we? Actually, it's the perfect place. Why don't we make a ICA or Kutstale? Well, or why don't we make a center for Izmir? In Izmir, there's nothing.
Really,
actually,
there's no contemporary art space.
No, nothing.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
And I was thinking, why don't I? Work on such a project, and I thought that art and architecture, IICCA kind of association or kind of thing, and why don't we? It's actually very close. It's very close to the center of the city, and if we shipwreck, it is directly will come from Italy by ferry or Greek by ferry. You have to be very utopically fantasizing these kind of things, and. We don't need so much budget because these kind of load-bearing structures, you don't need anything.
No, that's true.
And I was thinking, really, I have to find a kind of glass factory to sponsor my museum. And I was really seriously working on it.
It's a wonderful vision.
Yeah, wishful thinking.
Yes. Well, yes, too.
But then, some people hearing me talking this kind of thing, one of them said, they said, what do you need around that? Because, most of the public don't realize that if there's a museum, there's another museum for the storage in the behind or somewhere else.
Yes.
To cover that.
Yes.
To make it work.
Yeah.
First of all, you need people.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
But people like, let's say, I was meeting, more like people have really studied museology or curatorial practice. It's not like taking something and put it somewhere, kind of. One of the person I was talking my project, she said, I'm into race cars, and can you make a show for race cars? Can you bring them? I said, if you give the money, we can do anything, but you will be the trustee. You will be trustee. You will be continuing giving money to it. First show race cars, no problem. We can find the context to put it. So, and then, my dream was this, I never, when I was a child, first time I saw original was in Museum of Modern Art. I was seeing Waterfall of Frank Lloyd Wright. And,
and then the Falling Waters, yes.
Falling Waters at home. And that time, it was also, they were showing Monet's water lilies.
Oh, really?
First time I was showing that, I was like, my mother, my father, they left me in the museum, do whatever you want. You're leaving you. They went to sculpture garden.
So fascinated.
I was so fascinated. First time, I couldn't believe that's because
Yeah.
people, I mean, grow up in Turkey. We know art history from Edward Smith books or penguin things.
Yes, yes.
And when I see this image, the reality
of it.
I was shocked that
Yeah.
are they really kind of, maybe you can dream of the size or what does it look like, but to be in front of an artwork, that was a different experience. And that's why I thought, why not İzmir kid, 4-year, 5-year-old. I mean, they're doing in Germany. They're making happy birthday celebrations in museums now, just to involve public more from the teenage times.
And possibly bring more people and money into the museums.
That too, and maybe elevate the quality of life. I mean, imagine a kid each year she went another museum to celebrate her birthday. I mean, I end up with my mother's friends in a hotel to celebrate my birthday when I was a kid. So it wasn't bad. It was good, but. I just want to bring different qualities to life where I live, so where I born and live part of life. So then you have that kind of. I think I was 16 when I left to another town to study architecture. It was like 20 years after coming back for a private reason, but. You see more clearly when you're away what you really needed.
Yes, you do.
So that is the thing. Also, I mean, it's also a kind of a nice place to start. Having nothing.
Yes.
Saying nothing maybe make me think of this kind of projects. And on the other hand, it's an advantage. Also in Ankara. Our school was in the middle of the mountains. Again, there was nothing about contemporary art. And when you know nothing about it, you don't know how fast you run, or are you still walking?
Exactly.
So, so that's why I cannot judge. Let's say once in a couple of juries, what I'm trying to come here now, let's say institutes always, let's say when they take somebody coming from a different geography that makes their institute like international suddenly.
Yes.
And but I wasn't playing that part. My work was very much, I think, contemporary art, general, universal methods.
Yes.
So, but that's what the institute's like. So also, really, it's not really. It's all understandable. This showing the artist to other Dover people like but it makes it very anthropomorphic. Yes, anthropomorphic.
Yes.
And then, that is not necessary.
No.
Just go into the work.
Exactly.
And,
it's at the end of the day with, I think, any visual project, it's the work.
It's the work, yes, of course.
That's important.
What it says. Yeah. Even catalogs for the public space. In 20 years' time, our way of communication will change.
Exactly.
And I'm telling you, like I have like maybe 3,000 books in my house, in my disposal. I'm thinking, am I crazy? I have these huge books. If I want to go somewhere, they are like chains in my. But I still buy them because I like to touch them. I like
the tactile quality also.
Each of them, I know how I buy them, when I buy them, which city I was. So there's like a memory for me.
Exactly.
So, that's one of the reasons. Let's say they're not ephemeral. When you have a good documentation of them for generations to come, because
that's what exists. That's all that exists of something.
Because I really like to, let's say, when I was working on some other competitions, when I see other artists' work, how well it is documented in libraries.
Yes, I agree.
That is the thing.
Yes.
Because I really want to know what has happened before and what may come after it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I hope it's not a private interest. It has to be that way.